Fortnitemares is coming to a close as the leaves change alongside the current meta and we gear up for the holiday season. Attention all shoppers! Galactus is on his way to destroy our world. Somehow, the community a year later is still undecided on how shotguns should work. Are you surprised? Fortnite's weapon layouts are constantly evolving, and because of this, a lot of things feel like they're in and out of the game in the snap of a finger. But we're on to you, Epic. We know you removed the OG default dance. Yes, I know. The horror. And like this video in the next 5 seconds, or they'll remove Fish Stick from the game and replace him with a can of tuna. You're watching 15 things secretly removed from Fortnite. And on the topic of OG items, we're gonna whack on to number 15, the OG Pickaxe. Fortnite used to have a pickaxe that literally everyone in the game used at some point. This wasn't just any pickaxe from the item shop or battle pass though. In fact, this was the default pickaxe that everyone had during the entirety of Chapter 1. But when the end event happened and the new map came around, Epic secretly swapped out this pickaxe design with a brand new one. It sucks because a lot of us just want this OG pickaxe back. Wait a second. You hear that? Is that the sound of the calming rain? Or perhaps the sweet serenade of the OG pickaxe? Alright, come on Epic, give it away to all of us who played Chapter 1 or something. We will make the base pickaxe the rarest item in Fortnite. And speaking of OG default stuff, there's also number 14, the remove default dance. When you think of the default dance, your brain probably just instantly goes... know that the emote switches between that song and the one other pretty dull one. But for those of us who have been playing since day one, you might remember that the emote actually had a third song. Take a listen and leave a comment if you actually remember this thing. Oh, that one just hit me in the feels. It was secretly removed after season 1, so it didn't last long at all. I hope it comes back sometime. It's much better than that drum one. And speaking of emotes, let's move on to number 13, the Banner Wave emote. Back during Christmas last year, we were introduced to some pretty awesome Winterfest items, including a Banner Brigade set with a new emote. This new emote is the Banner Wave, and this is what it looks like. Pretty simple, just waving a flag. That's about it. But it never used to be this way. In the exact same week this emote came out, leakers found the Banner Wave emote in the files, but it looked completely different. This thing was a traversal emote where you held the banner above your head. But just 4 days later, it came out as something entirely different. I don't know why Epic chose to do this, but the emote would have been so much better as the first version. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm intrigued to hear which one you guys prefer. But from cosmetics to items, our next secret is number 12, Groot Baller. You probably just heard that and thought to yourself, oh yeah, I haven't seen that in ages. And it's because Groot Baller was indeed vaulted a few weeks ago. With Epic's lack of patch notes and communication, we didn't even know it was vaulted. But yeah, it's gone. The Baller had a notorious glitch where you could spawn it next to someone and they'd get teleported or thrown across the island. It was ridiculous. I guess Epic decided not to even try fixing it and instead just straight up removed it from the game. It's a shame too because even pros didn't mind it, and they usually complain just about everything out of the game. So that's saying something. Long live the 4-man Groot Ball strat. Well, this next one's about to take it back with number 11, the Block. Most of us remember during the Game Awards when we all stayed up late for a major Fortnite announcement. It turned out to be, well, this, the Block. For those who weren't there, the Block was a community-made POI that changed every single week. Honestly, it was a great idea on paper, but in practice, it just didn't end well. People making block maps just ended up adding things to make people land there, like guaranteed shields and easy ways to farm max materials. One time someone added a noose and a tipped over chair. Yeah, that wasn't great. Because of this, Epic just took this idea and instead moved it to the Creative Hub. The Block hasn't returned since, but hey, at least we have Risky Reels back. Maybe a bit of a stretch as far as exciting goes, but not as much as number 10, Stretched Resolution. Up until Season 8, a lot of pro players were able to manipulate their files and settings to change the resolution of Fortnite. Instead of just changing it to a usual resolution, they would make it a really stretched out version and it would give them a tactical advantage, including a higher field of view. So not only could they see more, but they got higher FPS and players were easier to hit. It also looked like players were cranking 90s on a Nintendo GameCube. Obviously, it wasn't fair to console players or regular PC players, so Epic straight up removed it. And not just that, but it was banned from tournaments and classified as cheating. And it certainly doesn't help the argument for an FOV slider either, because everyone wants one for comfort. But Epic removing stretch resolution like this doesn't look great for those who would love an FOV slider. Moving on, we have a blast to the past with number 9, directional jump pads. Before the launch pad and bouncers, there were almost no mobility items in Fortnite's island, except for one thing. Back in the very early days of Fortnite, we had an item you could place named the directional jump pad. It was basically an orange directional version of bouncers, where it would launch you in the direction you walked on. The thing was silently removed from Fortnite after launch pads were added, and people barely noticed they were gone. In fact, a lot of you will barely even remember these things, and if you do, you have some pretty good memory. Something a lot of us probably do remember, though, is number 8, Jiggle Physics. Ah yes, Calamity. Oh man, she really made a lot of headlines when she came out. For some reason, Epic decided to silently test a brand new feature with Calamity, and it wasn't exactly subtle. Yeah, they really did that is an understatement. Of course, when people immediately noticed their new skin had bouncing betties, it spread all over social media like wildfire. Epic Games tried its best to remove the Jiggle Physics almost immediately and actually said it was an unintended feature that they didn't mean to add in. How do you accidentally add that? Regardless, it's gone for good now, but it was a funny few hours. And next up, we have number 7, the OG Burst AR. Before Chapter 2, the Burst Assault Rifle had a completely different design and name. It used to be called the Semi-Auto Rifle, and then Assault Rifle Burst, and then the design looked like this. Look familiar? Ooh, yeah, right in the nostalgia. This gun was quietly removed from the game back in Chapter 1 to make room for the Infantry Rifle, but we finally saw a return when Chapter 2 came around. Well, kind of. Now it's the FAMAS and AUG designs that we're used to. I'd definitely love to see the old Burst come back one day though. Something I don't want to come back, however, is number 6, boomboxes. Yeah, the boomboxes, these things were vaulted insanely fast. I mean, the boomboxes were some of the most broken items in Fortnite's history. They completely destroyed the meta and competitive modes entirely. If you don't know, these guys would break every single build in an area for quite some time. It made the game super chaotic and people got angry pretty quickly. Luckily, Epic silently removed these from the game as fast as possible, and I don't think we'll ever be seeing them again. Building is literally Fortnite's main feature, so an item which just subwoofered through all builds with an 808 blasting like the kids that pull out of a high school parking lot, you can probably guess why that one was removed. But moving on, let's talk about number 5, Ceiling Zapper and Wall Dynamo. There were quite a few traps available in Fortnite before the first season began. There were the Ceiling Zapper, the Wall Dynamo, and the retractable floor spikes. When Season 1 came around, the retractable floor spikes were secretly vaulted and turned into the default damage trap. Then, the Ceiling Trap and Wall Dynamo traps were removed too, and we didn't see them again until near the end of Chapter 1 when they were combined to make the Zapper Trap. It's cool to see how Epic improves older items instead of just getting rid of them entirely, and the Zapper Trap actually wasn't too bad. Speaking of improving and recycling items, let's move on to number 4, the 2 old Storms. We go through different versions of Fortnite Storm the same way that Iron Man goes through different versions of his suit. Originally, it began with an OG Storm that was bright blue with hexagons. However, it was changed to a really realistic Storm that was easier to see through when inside of it. But now, with the last few seasons, we've gotten a new Storm with physical rain inside. It also makes more noise and is way harder to see through. There's also the Wall of Water, which was awesome. It's a shame that only lasted a few days, but yeah, maybe we'll see this current Storm get secretly changed once more in the future. Who knows? Galactus is right around the corner. Anything could happen. But now, on to number 3. Eye of the Storm Tracker. The fastest item to be vaulted in the history of Fortnite is the Eye of the Storm Tracker. This thing was literally in the game for, wait for it, 30 minutes. Yep, 30 minutes, and it never returned. Most people who aren't on Twitter or something might not even know this item existed in the first place. It allowed you to see where the next storm circle was, but Epic didn't mean to add it into the game and vaulted it after just half an hour. Eventually, it was replaced by the Storm Scout sniper rifle, but even that didn't last too long. Something that lasted longer than it should have, though, was number 2, Double Pump. Here it is, the Double Pump, the king of shotgun metas. This tactic was more overused by pros than even stretched resolution, and I think it's also the most divisive thing in Fortnite. Back when Double Pump was available, it was simultaneously the most overpowered thing in the game, but also the most fun. Dying to it sucked, but popping off with 2 pumps give you a feeling that we probably won't get again. So when Epic removed Double Pump by sneaking in a shotgun delay, it definitely split the community. Maybe we'll get it back one day, considering the pump got nerfed and people have gotten better at the game so they can defend against it. Just maybe. But now we move on to our final entry, something a lot of you probably don't even remember. Number 1, the OG default skins. In the OG days of Fortnite, before the Battle Pass or anything like that was even a thing, we actually had different default skins to the ones we have now. I'm not talking about the switch from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2. These are some OG default skins that are nowhere to be found. Pre-Season 1, these were the default skins, and they even had some different color combos. They looked awesome. I don't know why Epic secretly took them out of the game, but what's done is done. Maybe we'll get some kind of cameo from these guys in the future. But that's all we have for today. Oh yeah, by the way, only OGs can like this video. Try it out for yourself. Also, have you seen our other video we just posted? Click the annotation on screen right now, and I'll see you guys over there. This has been Sam, and keep it right here on Top 5 Gaming.